Hi everyone, welcome back to Texas 9A Garden. Today I'm showing you a project that's been bugging me for a long time, this pathway right next to my driveway. I've had this vision of a nice formal pathway with lush St. Augustine grass growing between the pavers, but reality wasn't cooperating. The grass was just very sporadic in places. Pavers were constantly slipping and going crooked, and it just looked messy and unfinished. So I just decided to go with St. Augustine. My yard is already St. Augustine, so I just wanted to keep it simple. So I picked up the sod in the morning. This is a half a pallet, which is about 80 pieces. And in my area, that's about $140. I went ahead with the half a pallet because I had some spots in the backyard and I needed the extra pieces. The longest part of this whole project was actually moving the pavers. They were way heavier than I remembered. It took me several days of hauling them off the driveway to my garage where I'm storing them for my next project. So I had to take a ton of breaks for my back to finally clear off the pavers from my driveway. But I did basically move the pavers one by one. It took me pretty much all day driveway. And then each section I would rough up the sand and the dirt that was underneath the pavers, mix it all together, and then level it as best as I could. Then I would lay the sod and then just make sure that it had really good contact with the soil, pat it down good, and move on to the next one. And then I just watered them in good. The main thing with this fresh sod, you don't want to soak it. You don't want it absolutely drenched, but those fresh and tender roots need to stay moist. So the most important thing is that it never dries out. And depending on where you're laying the sod, especially if it's full sun during, our Texas heat, then I basically have found just going out and giving it a nice little drink of water morning, afternoon, and night. And if it's a really hot day, then I would maybe do it twice. But you just kind of keep an eye on it and make sure that it doesn't start looking wilted and that sod is isn't looking too dry. But I've had pretty good luck with it so far. Laying sod to me is a lot like painting a house. For the amount of money that it takes, if you're willing to do the work, it makes such a huge difference. And so it's really big bang for your buck. Fortunately, we've had rain almost every day since I laid the sod, and it's rooting really nicely. The pathway already looks so much better. And I've used the leftover pieces to patch the dog run spots in the backyard and then fix some additional drainage issues on that side yard where we get a lot of water runoff and foot traffic. My neighbor and I both have our side gates over there, and so I just plop the other ones down and fill in some spots, which we just do periodically because it's sort of a consistent thing. Like I said, this is probably my sixth time doing some sort of sod refresh, if not a full sod of a yard, and I'm getting pretty comfortable with it. I've always had great luck, like I said, and overall, I'm just thrilled with how this turned out. It feels really good to finally get this checked off my list. Let me know what you think. I'm, curious what you guys would have done. Would you have tried to have the pavers redone with stone and leave the pathway or go back to sods? I hope you guys like it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. And if you like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Bye.